Hey there, viewers. So we have here a bit of a, I'm not sure I'd call it a forgotten game in the Castlevania series. Not as well known as a lot of the others. This is Castlevania Bloodlines for the Genesis. Pipes are max, it looks like. Alright, so I think this might be the first game where you actually have two people to select from the start. You have John Morris and Eric Lecard. I'm actually going to be going with John Morris for this one. Why he has the vampire killer, even though he's not a Belmont, that'll be addressed in a later game. As will partially the reason why the Belmonts aren't doing this themselves. But John Morris works like your typical Belmont. He's got the whip, and he has a little more control over it than in most games. He can whip straight down if he's jumping, and he can whip it at diagonal, again, only if he's jumping, though. So, a little more restrictive than Castlevania 4, but still better than most. Look at that. Usually get a cross that acts like a boomerang. Instead, in this game, you get an actual boomerang as one of your sub-weapons instead of the cross. There aren't a ton of sub-weapons in this game either. There's just, other than the boomerang, there's just the axe and the holy water. But it's still enough, I think. Yeah, as you may have noticed, this first level starts out laid out very similar to the first level from Castlevania 1, including, well, there was wall meat there, but instead we get this power up. That powers up our whip to like its maximum. You can unleash a pretty powerful attack if you use your sub weapon. Instead of the sub-weapon, you get that, but as you can see, it goes away when you take a hit. One thing I do really like about this game is its music. This tune in particular is one I liked. It wouldn't be reused in the game again until much later for Castlevania: The Adventure Rebirth. Oh, those bats. So here we have a sub-boss. We have this hellhound that doesn't really do a whole lot. He just sits there and howls and just makes the blast break. about all he does. Oh, I guess he does that too. Okay. The holy water seems to work a little odd in this game. Notice that you lob it upward for quite a ways instead of just dropping it straight on the ground. Although you can still drop it if you just hold down when using it. You'll drop it straight on the ground instead of lobbing it underhand like that. Ah, there's some of that masonry pot roast. So, in comparison to the other main 16-bit game, Castlevania 4, which came out, I think, a couple years before this. The game's only 6 levels long, although the levels are fairly long. And depending on whether you're playing as John or Eric, the levels will sometimes split in some places. Because they do have a couple of unique game mechanics. Eric can do a sort of a pole vault with his spear. Sort of like the super jump from Super Mario Bros. 2. While John can do... if you're doing that upward swing with the whip, he can latch onto platforms above him and swing. Sort of like what Simon could do in Castlevania 4, although he doesn't need the... Yeah, just like that. He doesn't need the rings with the little, those little flying rings. Although it's a little more situational in this game than it was in Castlevania 4. Dumb skeleton jumped right into that. We got a remix of this song from the first game. Yeah, which should now be the very familiar approach up to Dracula's room. Only this time from left to right instead of right to left as usual. But no, this isn't the end of the game already. Instead, we fight this armor knight guy. It's pretty easy. I got that super special thing I can do with the whip. But notice you wear him down. You sort of whittle down his attacks there. But then he gets different weapons out. But that's the end of stage 1. As usual, that was the easy part of the game. It's gonna get a lot harder from here. So with that, I'll leave it off here, and I'll do 1 stage per video. So, I'll see you guys next time.
I'm playing a game.